I'm on early tonight. I caught everyone off guard by being on a 1 minute early. While you're all catching up, I will look to see if the streams are there, and they are. And let's see here. Good. Excellent. Let's see people roll in. Good. All right. Hello, everybody. California. Special place in my heart there. North Carolina, Los Angeles. Hi, TNZ. Los Angeles, Washington, Chicago. I am so happy that there are people out there from areas that are going completely crazy and you're still willing to be on here and try to figure this all out with us. I appreciate Phoenix, Arizona. Little small story before we get started as people roll in. I actually spent 6 months in Scottsdale, Arizona. West Virginia, nice. Scottsdale, Arizona, I lived there for 6 months out of college before becoming a doctor. I love Arizona for traveling, but I don't know that I could live there. Michigan, Port Huron, Michigan. Fantastic. Indianapolis, Indiana. I've been there many times. Good evening, everybody. New Jersey. I love all of you. You're amazing. Even when I'm a little tired from the day or from the week, I will fully admit that coming on and talking to you wonderful, lovely folks is inspiring. I think you're a blast, and I love growing this tribe of patriots, but it also gives me energy. So that's for you guys as well. So even if I'm ever a little tired just from the wear and tear of life and being busy, there's only so many things in life that give me energy. My family, you guys, helping people, all that good stuff. So welcome, everybody. California again, Jefferson, Ohio. West Jefferson, I'm sorry. Excellent. Good. I don't know why you guys can't hear if you're having problems with that. Everything is golden on my end. So we are going to get started tonight, and I check everything before I jump on, and we are good. So excellent. Welcome. This is Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, your source for health, freedom, and knowledge. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I really, really appreciate it. Let me dive into something right away that can kind of set this whole thing for us, okay? And that is, quote unquote, the coup. Now, I'm not talking about the coup that's currently being undertaken against the presidency. I'm actually talking about this going backwards even farther. So as I read, I look at the Anon stuff, but I also just do my own research, okay? So you know, obviously I do look at the Anons, I do look at Q, but I do heavily my own research into what could be happening and what could have happened. And quite honestly, the biggest thing that occurred was, and I've heard this from multiple sources across the board, was that the military actually wanted to do this. I spoke about this in previous shows. The military wanted to have this handled and taken care of back in 2000. Okay, there's the global world order versus quote unquote the alliance. Okay, they wanted to do this in 2000, and then 2001. Excuse me, it's gonna be a cough drop night early. In 2001, 9/11 happened, and that was actually to stop it from happening. So that was the global world order to stop everything from occurring. After that, this has been going on for a long period of time. I don't know if you listen to David Wilcock. I listen to David Wilcock on and off, but he talks forever. And as much as I love some of his material, I don't know if he's controlled opposition or not, but he talks forever to the point where he doesn't get to the point. And I myself love to talk. Trust me, I do. But I also like to get the point out there. So even some nights when I go an hour, I wish I got to the point faster. So the whole point of this is they've been trying to do this for a long period of time. At one point, I am now reading that when President Obama was in office, the military was attempting or was going to attempt their own coup of President Obama. But they were going to do it in a very forceful, dominating way. The problem with that, and they knew this was a problem, was that would have caused massive chaos, right? Big problem. So along those lines, many sources I've read this and watched this is the fact that they went to then not even candidate Trump and they said, this is our plan. Would you be willing to do this? And maybe a lot of you have heard this before of like, why did the current president leave a lot of money, his family, and why did he decide to go into this world? Because he definitely did not. When you're a billionaire, you do not need the presidency of the United States. Like, it's a $400,000 a year job. It's completely stressful. You lose control once you're in because they take you over. So why? Because it does not make sense, even other than ego, and our president has a big ego, and that's well known. It still doesn't make sense why he would have taken the presidency when he's sitting on a multi-billion dollar empire. However, if the military comes to you, because he actually does not have a military background, but he has a military education background. They came to him and they said, these are the two scenarios that could play out. One, we take out the president and we take out the New World Order in a very coup-like way to regain the United States of America. Or we get you to run for president and then this thing is taken care of. And you're involved with this military operation behind the scenes. Now, the reason I say that is because I've been reading some things where they're saying that this game is already over. We're actually seeing the final pieces of this puzzle, and this was actually all done in the last several years and the lead up to the president winning the election. I've actually read sources that they had this under control before the election, and they actually had polling and voting under control, and that's why he won the presidency, because we are all stunned that he won. Obviously, we were behind it because we didn't want Hillary in there, but we are stunned that he won. Is it possible that they already knew and it was already taken care of, and is that why Hillary was so stunned that night? Because I actually told someone today, do you realize that she never conceded in 2016? To this day, Hillary never conceded the election to him. Now, that doesn't mean anything. There's nothing official about that. She obviously still has, she didn't win. He's the president. However, there's this thing called etiquette. And I was talking about this with a patient today is, in the past, I played a lot of golf. I played competitively in college. I don't play as much now because I have other interests. But there's etiquette. So if you're playing, you never walk through somebody's line of putting or line of distance, right, where they're looking to the hole. It's bad etiquette. And actually, you'll get golfers like myself who are competitive at the time would get very upset if someone did that because it actually could ruin your putt. There's etiquette. There's etiquette in a lot of types of things. There's etiquette at dinner table sometimes if you're eating at a very classy restaurant, all these different things. Okay, so she didn't concede. Do you realize it's etiquette for the person that loses an election to concede that they were defeated? It's basically like if your kid was walking off the field, and yes, you can be upset that you lost, you can be annoyed that you lost and everything else, but you still concede or you congratulate the opposing team for just being better that day or that night. Okay? She didn't do that. All right? So keep in mind, this is a big thing, and the president, I believe, is in complete control. The military is in complete control. Okay? So it's just this whole thing about a coup, and if you go on Twitter, you can read about this. It's very fascinating. Now, moving on from that, and I'll drop more as I read on that, but it's interesting, okay? Going forward, has anyone heard of Lauren Boebert? And I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, so if I'm not, I apologize. But what we're going to do, I'm going to actually take you to that screen, okay? We're going to go back to the sharing screen feature in my lovely software. So let's do this. Excellent. And here we go. Awesome. So I want to make sure everyone can see this. All right. This is Colorado politics. All right. Colorado politics. Lauren Boebert reopens restaurant in Rifle, Colorado. Now, first of all, just so everyone knows, I will actually be interviewing Lauren, who is running for Congress in her district, the House of Representatives in Colorado. So she is running to get to our Congress in Washington, D.C. All right. Now, she has a restaurant in Rifle, which is called Shooter's Grill. And one of the very interesting things about this, which you'll hear about next Thursday from her, is that they actually carry weapons. The women do, the waitresses carry weapons on their waist, okay, in the restaurant. And everyone loves it, all right? They love it. Now, she opened up. Now, she's running against U.S. Representative Scott Tipton, okay? Now, she is not waiting for permission for the business to open. She is just going in and she is opening the business. Now, I will tell you, I did converse with some people in her party and in her group today, and I do believe, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it was, but she had certain certifications, I guess you could say, or permits were stripped from her possibly today for the restaurant because they violated their order. Now, on top of that, keep in mind, I believe they were also doing social distancing. They were abiding by all CDC rules, according to CDC. Obviously, whether they're correct or not, they were abiding by all that. However, their governor still didn't like it, and they went in, and I believe, the last time I knew, they were shutting it down. But she said she was defiant. She was not going to put up with it. So just so you know, that is what's currently going on with that situation, okay? But do me a favor, please support Lauren and what she's doing, because she is amazing. If you're in Colorado, obviously support her getting to Washington because it's necessary. She's one of the good ones. And again, next Thursday we'll talk with her, okay? Now, this is John Solomon. Many of you have heard me talk about John Solomon. His news is fantastic. This is just the news from John Solomon. He also works for The Hill. But we're going to go into this later. I just want to show you a couple things here. The first one I want to show you is Wisconsin Supreme Court strikes down the Democratic governor's extended stay-at-home order. Okay, so the Supreme Court of Wisconsin on Wednesday today ruled that the administration of Governor Tony Evers overstepped its authority in extending the state's stay-at-home order until the end of May. The first instance of a court striking down a coronavirus-related lockdown policy. So, this is fantastic, meaning this is why it's so important for you out there. This is why it's absolutely so important that you guys are being involved with this. If something is going on in your state, there's something going on in your government, you need to step up. You need to do what is required to protest, because these are your rights. If Wisconsin can shut that down, okay, everyone out there listening right now, if you're from California, or specifically if you're from Los Angeles County, how many people are willing to go protest and to get the Supreme Court to overturn Governor Newsom's? Now, I don't know if your Supreme Court will do that. I don't know how liberal or conservative they are. They may shut it right down. They may push you away. But Wisconsin has already stepped up, and that is so huge. So, as I said, it is so important. And as I had, I believe his name is Josh, was on the Revolution 2.0. Protest clean, protest peaceful, but make it happen. This is how we take our country back. They can't arrest all of you guys. Do you know that, right? They can't arrest all of you guys. It's not going to work, all right? So Wisconsin is leading the pack and showing that, in fact, you can overturn orders from your government, okay? Now, I also want to tell you something about this, and I'll go into this later more. Sorry, I'm being loud with the cough drop. I'll get that done right now so you don't have to listen to it. But I'll see a lot of you guys, and you guys send me a lot of those petitions where you sign a petition, it goes to your government. I'm going to go into this in a different show, but just so you know, those don't actually work, okay? You actually have to file an order to your government. Petitions are, they don't view those. Now, not trying to beat you up, great job at putting them together. Great job at getting signatures. Great job at being proactive. I'm just letting you know that the government doesn't recognize those, okay? That's not how they do things, and I'll go into that later. I have an expert that knows how to do that stuff. I will work on getting that information or even have that person on because it's very important information on how you get the government to do something for you. And yes, you have to protest peacefully in your areas. If you're in a liberal area, you must show yourself, okay? That might entail getting arrested. I understand that. There's a mayor I think in Chicago, who is absolutely crazy. And if you go on and look at some of her videos, she actually talks about citizens in her community obeying a new world order. Did anyone see those videos? I haven't shown them here, but there's two videos I saw, separate videos. It's the black woman from Chicago. Her hair is crazy. She's got a very dark circle under her eyes. She looks very evil as far as I'm concerned. And she was saying that she wants her citizens to abide by a new world order. This was just in the last week. It's completely insane, but I think you need to know that. Moving on to colleges. Not sure if anyone's seen this, but breaking this afternoon, I believe, it was that colleges, a lot of them are going back, it sounds like, for the fall semester. One specific one that I heard, because it's local to us or close to us, is University of Florida. They are going back for the fall semester. So I was predicting next year, but it looks like they moved it up a semester, which is fantastic. Now, will it be the same? Probably not. I'm sure they're going to have some regulations, some rules. It may not be exactly the same way the classes are done. They may still have some remote learning and different stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to go back like 100% like it was. However, Cal State University, I do not even know where that college is in California. I'm assuming it's somewhere near Los Angeles, but I haven't looked it up even. I just saw the headline. But Cal State University is not going back into session until it sounds like at least next year. California has lost their marbles. And it's not just California. Washington State's lost it. Oregon's lost it. Illinois lost it. I think Pennsylvania is not so hot themselves. Corruption there. The very, very northeast, your New Hampshires and Maines, they've lost it. I don't know if I'm missing any there, but those are some of the biggest liberal areas. And I will tell you, it's amazing, as someone said, how much money they're going to be losing. And I'm telling people, the places to move are Florida, Texas, and maybe Nevada. That's what I heard. But do not bring your liberal stuff. Do not bring your deep state policies to our states. We're not going to put up with it, okay? But we are amazing places to live. It is a tremendous amount of fun to live in these areas. And your colleges are going to be very, very interesting. Ohio, yes. I forgot to name Ohio in the crazy department. Wherever, New York too. How did I miss New York? Crazy town, New York. My home state has lost their mind. And you need to stand up to figure it out and get it back. Because I will tell you, if you guys are waiting, if you're waiting for President Trump to step in for you, keep in mind, via the Constitution, the states have rights to do what they want to. And I will tell you, if we're dealing with an economic issue, he will let each state that is struggling financially and is a liberal state, don't think he won't let them go bankrupt on them. Like California, sorry to say, folks, California deserves 100% of their bankruptcy. Now, I know some people are not going to like that statement because there's people that live there, and yes, I have friends that live there, I have family that lives there, and obviously I don't want any of them harmed, physically or financially. However, the state itself has completely financially, economically ruined itself, and it's very unfortunate, but they've done it to themselves. They've done it via all of their governors. And so sometimes, if you're spending too much money and you're not taking care of your citizens and you're not doing the things you're supposed to do, the only thing to do is fail, which is bankruptcy, file bankruptcy. And yes, the state can do that. I don't know all the ways or all the policies that have to go on for that to happen, but absolutely that does happen. That can happen. Okay? Now, let's go into the little deeper issue of today, which was General Flynn. So the fascinating thing about General Flynn was the fact that I did not expect this to occur, but Rand Paul, let me show you here. Rand Paul, is everyone like Rand Paul? Raise your hand. Give me like a hands up emoji if you like Rand Paul. So Rand Paul is my favorite congressman, senator at this point. He's a senator in Congress. He's my favorite because his dad was obviously my favorite as well, who was in the House of Representatives. Rand is probably the only one that actually really both is a constitutionalist. He is a libertarian by heart, but he's a Republican Party. He's sane, okay? So what was interesting was, I'm going to scroll down a little bit and see if I can find this, okay? This one right here, this one was today at 2:30. And when this happened, I was stunned, okay? Wow, I just received some shocking news. Will announce shortly, okay? Rand Paul, just so you know, one, he's a doctor. Yes, he is a physician. By the way, did anyone see the crazy liberal person on Twitter who said that he bought his way into medical school via his dad, and he's not actually a real doctor? Who's the woman who actually writes for a major media outlet? That was like yesterday. Completely crazy. Anyway, Rand Paul, as a physician, I will tell you, physicians are trained to be very calm for the most part. You have to have all your wits about you because you can deal with emergency situations. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you're a chiropractor, you never dealt with emergency situations." Not true. I actually had an emergency situation my second year in practice, which was a woman who came in, and I was checking on her. She was going to be possibly a new patient, and she sat down. She felt ill, and she was going to pass out. And I've now caught 3 different people in my career passing out or more. But anyway, she sat down, and I heard a beeping, and it took me a little while, but then I realized her beeping was she was going into a diabetic coma. And so the adrenals kick in. I stayed calm the whole time, called 911, had an ambulance come pick her up and get her taken care of because I don't fix somebody going into a diabetic coma. That's a very dangerous situation. But back to Rand, physicians are taught to be very calm, very just, you have to be there and ready to go for anything to happen. And sometimes honestly, a lot of us physicians, our adrenals get burned out really easily. We lose our minerals because we're in stressful situations a lot and we have to deal with those, okay? It becomes normal to us. So anyway, the whole point is, I just received shocking news. I did not expect something like that from Rand Paul. That means something stunning. So I wasn't sure what was coming. And then if I go back, he actually puts here, okay, yesterday I wrote the DNI, Richard Grinnell. So the DNI, he is the acting National Intelligence Director, Richard Grinnell, requesting names of those who were involved with General Flynn's unmasking, meaning they outed him, okay? So the crazy part was, and I actually have a better article for this, but I wanted to point out how, right, so I'm going to flip back and forth here. This one is Flynn unmasking documents show involvement of senior Obama administration officials. So let me see if I can explode this up a little bit for everyone to see, because you're on a small Facebook window. But here is the actual documentation. This is the official documentation from the unclassified information from Ron Paul was from Texas. Rand Paul is Kentucky. This is from Honorable Charles E. Grassley, the chairman of the Committee of Finance. And as you scroll down, this is what was unleashed today. These are the names. Below is a list of recipients who may have received Lieutenant General Flynn's identity in response to requests processed from between blah, blah, blah dates to unmask an identity that had been generically referred to an NSA foreign intelligence report, meaning they knew, they were involved. So some of these names you won't necessarily know. However, James Clapper, Director of National... These are all the jackasses that said they were not involved with anything and there was no cover-up. And now they're getting busted in official documentation. Okay, we go down here. Oh, look at Director of CIA, John Brennan. Okay, we go down and let's see. What are the other ones? Some of these names I know, but I'm not going to point them out because they're not necessarily known to everybody. Oh, look at that. Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, James Comey. Look at that. How fascinating. I go down. Let's see. Anybody else we know? Okay, some no names there, but very important no names just because we don't know them. And then we get to look at that. The last name. The Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden. While this moron, and by the way, some people would like to respect, some people believe it's respectful to talk about congressmen, senators, all these lawyers and people who are in our government, and we should honor them, like saying honorable and justice this and senator this and congressman there, congresswoman this. I'm done with that. I'm past that. I will tell you, they're all traitors, or a majority of them. I shouldn't say all. Majority of them are traitors, and I don't believe they're honorable at all. I think they're horrendous people. I believe they've sold our country and our pride down the river to other countries. And I personally, do not hold respect for these people. So I will call Joe Biden a complete jackass. And I would call him worse. But if your kids are watching, I don't want them to take that stuff home and say those words. So I will contain those words for myself. However, going back to Senator Rand Paul, if I come up here, if you go through some of his... So look at this. Washington Examiner. They quoted Rand Paul right here. Okay? Now, let's listen to this because I don't even know what he said here. But let's listen to this. Let's see what he says.
This is a question from Fox of what impact should this have on Vice President Biden's campaign for president?
Every reporter in the country now needs to ask him a legitimate question. He needs to come out of hibernation, and they need to ask Vice President Biden, what kind of person eavesdrops? Is that something that we think is a legitimate function of government, to eavesdrop on your opponents without a warrant, to illegally unmask them and listen to their private conversation? No, from the very beginning, General Flynn's been treated very poorly by his country. A guy who served 33 years has been treated very poorly. But this is an abuse of power that should not rest, and it should make every American worry that if Vice President Biden were elevated to the top office, would he again use this kind of power on political opponents? And the other side needs to realize this is exactly what they're accusing President Trump of, but he was actually acquitted on that charge. They have now found that Vice President Biden is guilty of using government to go after a political opponent.
Okay, let me do this. Let me do this real quick because I'm going to fully admit I did not watch that clip before I just showed to you guys, and I'm glad I didn't because I got the raw feedback that you probably just got. I was not expecting what he was going to say. I never saw that, and that is genius. So you have the President of the United States calling the Obama administration treasonous, and now you have Senator Rand Paul coming down on the vice president, or the former vice president of the United States, and he's basically calling him out for being a criminal. Like, he didn't say certain words because he knows he's got to be very careful legally, but I had not seen that, and that has just become one of my favorite clips in this whole process, because you now have a senator who is a constitutionalist who is saying you committed a crime, and not only did that, you did it against a president, you also did it against your country. That is fantastic, and I'm so glad that I watched that at the same time you guys did for the first time. So I'm going to go back to his Twitter feed right now because I'm very curious what else he had to say today, which is also wonderful. And let's get over here. Wonderful. Good. Okay. So, again, Vice President Biden is guilty of using government to go after a political opponent. And then if you go up even higher, this one is what I love. So, this one's from The Hill. Paul claims Biden caught red-handed eavesdropping on Flynn. So if I open that up, and these are major media publications, okay, saying he caught him red-handed.
Mobile just sent me this solar wireless battery pack. I'm excited. Let's see what's inside.
Sorry about that. That was very loud, and I didn't know it was going to do that. So we don't need to look at that. We basically got the headline, which is very, very intense. So keep in mind, Rand Paul is a very, very good friend, if you didn't know this, of President Trump. They are very tight. They don't always agree on everything, but they are very, very tight to each other. They're very close. So if he's calling him out like that, that's a pretty big deal. So wonderful. Now, I'm going to go over here to myself again so we can do this. And the next thing I want to tell you about was little small stuff, okay, before I go towards the end of the show. So if you didn't also see this, you can actually Google this or DuckDuckGo this, that there was an attorney in LA, Hollywood, who was an attorney or attorneys to the stars, the people like Katy Perry's of the world, Lady Gaga's of the world. There was a whole list of them. Their emails, their databases supposedly got hacked today. So I would be very, very eye-opened to things that could be coming out via the Hollywood elite. So just know, I don't have a bunch of details on it. It just came out tonight, but that was very, very big. Moving on, if you didn't know this, CNN is actually having a coronavirus show coming up, I believe tomorrow. I would have to double check that with it. Now here you go. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, former CDC head, I don't remember his name. They're going to have Kathleen Sebelius, who is the Health and Human Services head under Obama. And then here's the wild card, Greta Thunberg. They are having those four people on a coronavirus basically town hall online, which is completely insane, ludicrous. What? I don't know why anybody would watch a former CDC head, Kathleen Sebelius, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who is so deep state it's not funny, and then why would Greta Thunberg, who is, I believe, a teenager, little girl, and I don't mean that in a derogatory manner, who is being used as a puppet to push global warming. I will tell you my thoughts on global warming in a second. And pushing now how to safely handle coronavirus. This is exactly how the mainstream media works. They have their puppets. They go on and they try to sell you. This teenage girl, first of all, I actually feel very bad for her because I have a feeling she's been MK'd Ultra. I have a feeling she's probably been medicated. I don't think she's actually really living her childhood out. I think that she has been controlled. I think she's also been in touch with George Soros. And I feel bad for her because she's basically a destroyed girl. The elite, the cabal, has destroyed a child, which is completely wrong because Greta Thunberg could be an amazing human being, but instead they're using her and basically brainwashing her to push forward now coronavirus, but they used her to push, wait for it, the scam and hoax that is climate change. Now, some people are going to get very, very irritated that I called it a scam and a hoax. Keep in mind, they had to change names. It was global warming, but no one bought into that. So now they're going to say climate change. And I've never really probably openly talked about this very much, but we have a little girl now that's pushing two basically scams, right? Here's the deal with global warming. Temperatures change all the time. They go up, they go down. They go up, they go down. They go up, they go down. Okay? It changes with the sun, if you didn't know this. Now, I will put this caveat in there. The problem with global warming and climate change, there is a problem with our weather, but that's not because of global warming or climate change. That is a combination of weather control or weather modifications, creating chemtrails in the air that alters our entire weather system, HARP, messing with frequencies of weather, and destroying our land. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, I am one of the probably rare conservative-minded people that is a little bit more, I probably fall on, not the liberal side of this, but like I'm in agreement with people like RFK Jr. on our land. Now, let me also separate this. I am not for the EPA. I do not like the EPA. They're just as corrupt as the rest of them. So I actually like a lot of the regulations being rolled back, not because, and I have been attacked on this before, because they're saying, oh, well, you want all the regulations pulled back because you just want to let corporations do whatever they want to the land. Absolutely not. Completely disagree, right? That is not what I want. What I want is I want a contract to be developed between said corporations and community organizations that if a corporation screws with the land and pollutes it, you can sue the living hell out of them and bankrupt the corporation for destroying the land. But we must have our planet clean. We must have our oceans clean. We cannot destroy our Earth, right? However, regulations from the EPA actually do more damage to our Earth than they do to help it, okay? So we need to roll back regulations, and then we need to actually have contracts in place where you can actually sue a corporation. So that's the problem. The regulations actually allow the corporations to get away with stuff and not be sued, kind of like vaccine companies, the same thing, right? You go and damage somebody, you harm a child, you render them useless, you destroy their brain, or you destroy land, you destroy water, you destroy whatever you want to, and then they can't be touched because they have government welfare on their side and they're taken care of because the EPA was so nice to them and put in regulations. That's BS. What I want to see happen is if you destroy land or if you create pollution, a community or a city sues the hell out of you. And you either go bankrupt or you take a very big hit big enough that you don't do it again. You have to be taught a lesson. So suing Monsanto for $100 million is nothing. Okay, and I'm going to go into that a little bit later. But the whole point of this is it's not global warming or climate change created by us as individuals, because what they want to say is this is the New World Order's little plan, is to say, oh, well, humans create global warming, climate change because of land animals and eating meat and all this stuff. No. That's not how it works at all. Okay? We personally do not create global warming, climate change. You destroying the land creates global warming, climate change. Okay? That will alter weather. That will change patterns. But that is coming from the elite and the global orders. It's not from us, okay? And it's not from population. That's why they want to cull the population. In the name of global warming and climate change, we want to protect our planet and we want to depopulate it so that we actually don't have that. That's total BS. That is a selling point that they mess with you on. There's so many people that fall for that. But the whole point on this was Greta Thunberg should not be a puppet in the global warming and the coronavirus issue, and she shouldn't be on CNN parroting whatever bullet points they gave her to try to sell to the public. And it's one, ridiculous and she needs to be put away. Two, it's ridiculous and I'm very sorry. It's unfortunate that a girl was harmed mentally the way she is and she was thrown into this battle which she should not be in, because she should be able to be an innocent child living out her life and being amazing in whatever she does. So, but that's the actual problem. So I'm going to go into that in a minute on the healthcare stuff. Now, moving forward, I want you guys to know 75% of your Congress is corrupt. Meaning, a lot of the people you're seeing on the news right now, a lot of the people you're seeing who are talking every day on Fox News, talking every day on CNN, everything else. 75% of your Congress, that includes House of Representatives and the Senate, are corrupt. I don't know if any of you heard this or remember this, but probably about 2 weeks back, I actually told you I read that 30% of your Congress, both male and female, they have sources on this, are using a male escort service. So male representatives and female representatives, 30% of our entire Congress is using a secret behind-the-scenes male escort service. Now, you can be gay if you want to. You can be straight if you want to. You can, have sex with the opposite sex. Whatever they want to do in Washington, they can do, right? Ultimately. However, when you're secretly behind the scenes using this, you're not carrying out your duties correctly. You are not sent to Washington to screw around or to be part of a club or be part of an elite. You're sent there to do a job for your constituents. All right, so that is a problem. I keep getting cut off. I am good on my end, guys. The network is coming. I did more work on it today. I have really, really amazing people building it behind the scenes because we have some really amazing stuff coming. It's going to be more than just this show. We're going to be educating the masses as best as possible, and you're going to help me do this because you are the patriots out there. You are amazing. It is not just going to be me. It is going to be a team, a tribe, sending positive frequencies, vibrations, prayers, you name it, out there so that we can make sure this country goes in the right direction. So anybody with a sound problem, anybody with a video problem getting cut off, it is social media. It's happening. We're going to get it taken care of, okay? Excellent. Now, I want to dive into, now that you're awake, or you're awakening, I should say, and there's so many levels of awakening. And we're probably, let's see, if there's 5 levels of awakening. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're past level 1. We're probably on past level 2. We're probably on about level 3 of awakening. Right, that means there's a couple other levels that we have to get to. But you're on level 3 of awakening. What you need to know from a healthcare standpoint. Okay, first of all, Fauci said today that the vaccines won't be ready for the school season. So I did not go into this article fully because it's ridiculous. What he's doing is he's trying to put a fear tactic or a scare tactic on everybody that we should keep schools home still for the whole year because the vaccine won't be ready. That means, let you know, by the way, you need to, if you're sending your kids back to a public school and even a private school or any type of school where they have to go to it, you need a checklist of what you're willing to allow your kid or children to be involved with. Meaning, they're going to sanitize everything. When I say sanitize, I'm not saying in a good way. They're going to Lysol everything, they're going to bleach everything, and they're going to do that every single day. They will probably want to spray your kid down with certain disinfectants. They are going to want to, probably have masks on at certain points. You heard my wife's talk possibly about the way some of the local social programs are working for kids, like gymnastics and sports, etc., everything else. They want them distanced. They're probably going to push like crazy vaccines. Just so you need to know this, because when your kids go back, you're going to be dealing with bureaucracy at your schools, whether it's public or private. And I'm not saying don't send them back. If that's your choice and what you guys want to do, that's perfectly fine. Make sure you have good teachers. Obviously, there's some amazing teachers out there in the public school system. I have patients who are teachers, and I'm talking amazing. People who genuinely want their kids to learn. They put in the hours, they put in the time, and their purpose is dedicated to giving good knowledge and educating their kids. And I love those teachers. It's not all of them, but I love those ones. But I tell you, the system is going to want them into certain things. So you're going to have a breaking point. You might have a breaking point depending on where you are. Again, they might want masks. They might want social distancing. They may want no touching. They may want vaccines. They may sterilize everything. They may bleach everything. Do you realize just by just by bleaching and Cloroxing everything in a school, your kids' bacteria. So again, my wife talks about this all the time. We have good bacteria on our skin. You will be destroying that bacteria, which leads to a decreased immune system, which leads to an increase in sickness of children. I will tell you, if they are getting sprayed, and by the way, there's a difference between Clorox bleaching something and then spraying them down. If they get sprayed down, I'm going to tell you right now, you're in a lot of trouble. That's going to go into the lungs. That's going to go into the sinuses. That's going to go into the lymphatic system. And if they're using anything similar to like a pesticide or herbicide or anything like that, and trust me, these disinfectants will have very similar ingredients. What is going to occur is lymphatic issues can lead to lymphomas, can lead to cancers, can lead to major problems. And I don't care if they're a kid and they have a faster metabolism and they heal quicker. Bodies cannot handle that. This is what Monsanto Bayer was sued for like 2 years ago, was the gentleman Dwayne Johnson, who got lymphoma, I believe lymphoma, cancer, from the pesticide, the Roundup glyphosate, right? It messed with his entire lymph system, all right? These kids cannot take this stuff in. I will tell you, you will also have autism on the rise, not just because of the vaccine, but because the glyphosate going into the gut, all right? It's going to open up the gut to create leaky gut, which allows all the particles to go into the bloodstream, also up to the brain. That is one of the causes of autism. So vaccines aren't the only cause. Obviously, it's one of the biggest ones, and it's a major problem. But glyphosate is also a major issue. They're going to be getting this in their lungs, their sinuses, their liver. This will turn into cancers. This is not me scaring you, but at the same time waking you up to show you and tell you, you must be aware of this. This is not just, oh, let's go back to school, everything's over, everything's cool. You as a parent, this is again responsibility. You have to know all the things that they're walking into. I'm going to imagine, I would speculate that you're going to either get something emailed to you or maybe sent to your house, maybe a letter saying the different things that might be occurring on entry back into the schools. It's going to be probably like vaccines. It's going to tell you the different stuff that they are going to be doing. They better be. Legally, I'm sure they have to. You need to be on top of this so you know everything going on. And on top of that, you not only do you need to know what's happening, you need to know your rights. You need to know that it is not okay to do that, and they can't make you do that. All right? Again, just because it's a school system does not mean they're God. They don't own you. You have rights. They will make it seem like they own you, and they will make it seem like you have to abide or you can't come back. This is, again, where you very potentially have to get a lawyer involved. And I'm not saying spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on a lawyer. You need to look around. I'm sure there's people that will do it for a flat fee or flat rate or maybe even pro bono. Who knows? I'm sure this could be a thing, but you need to be ready for this, and you need to understand that you have to protect your kids going back into the system. Even college. College will probably be the same way. You do not want to pay, okay, for a mistake later on. I'm not talking about just financial pay. I'm talking about life, family. I'm talking about spiritual pay. I'm talking about financial, everything involved with this. You don't want something now that we didn't think about 5-10 years down the road becoming a major illness or a chronic problem for these kids, whether college or just regular. So you just need to know this can happen, and you need to stay on top of it. This is part of your responsibility as being an American patriot. Your kids are your responsibility, and you need to make sure that no one else is dictating to them. The state does not own you or your kids. You own them, and you have to dictate their life in a responsible manner until they're old enough to dictate it for themselves. This has been the grand plan the whole time. They control your money. They control your food. They control your school system. They control your medical system. They control the judicial system. There's many others, but there's just 5 different layers that they own right there, right? So, health standpoint. They don't just need vaccines to cull the population. They don't just need any other random thing they decide to control. They don't need 5G or 6G just to control the population. They already started this a long time ago. America fell asleep at the wheel. This is the food system. I've talked to so many different people. You've watched the interviews. They destroyed the soil. Keep in mind, this wasn't because we wanted to produce more food. This wasn't because we wanted to take care of everybody. This wasn't because, we have new things we want to try in the pot. They did this to control the population. All right? They are culling the American population right now. You say, well, what do you mean they're culling? We have more people than ever. No. They did it through disease. They did it through cancer, through diabetes, through cardiovascular disease, right? They did it through autoimmune disease. By the way, did you know autoimmune disease, vaccine related? Autoimmune disease means that your immune system is attacking itself. Guess what? Your body, your physiology was not created to attack itself. But when they stuck in the vaccine and when they destroyed your gut with the glyphosate, guess what your immune system was happy to do? Attack itself. So when somebody has an autoimmune disorder, which is a garbage pail diagnosis for them saying, we don't know what's going on, your immune system is just attacking itself. That means you have a foreign substance in your body, or foreign substances in your body that was either injected in, swallowed, or drank that is attacking your system, and the results on diagnostic tests will say, oh, well, you're off here. Let's add another medication. No, this is the culling of the population. This is what they have done. They destroyed your soil. They took all the minerals out. They did something called monocropping versus how farming is really supposed to work, which is where you rotate crops. You rotate because that's how land stays healthy. The dirt that you walk on is a living, breathing organism. Planet Earth is a living, breathing organism. They did what they could to destroy the organism. And that's what they're doing every single solitary day, and you need to be aware of it. Okay? This is how they culled the population. They did it very, very simply. And then they keep adding things on. Isn't that nice of them? They keep adding things on. You have Monsanto with glyphosate. You have water problems. So they put fluoride in the water to not only dull you down intelligence-wise, but to calcify your pineal gland. But keep in mind, anytime you put a poison into the body, like a fluoride, right, the body will also attack that with calcium. It will surround it, all right? They did it with parasites. If you didn't know already, they put genetically modified organisms and they put parasite in the vaccines. They don't tell you this, okay? This is what they do. This has been the plan the whole time. So not only do they get to cull the population very slowly, because guess what? As I've said in the past, and I've gotten yelled at for this too, we don't live in a planet right now or in a society where they could do what they did in Nazi Germany by rolling up and putting us in train cars. If they did that today, we would all rise up and we would stop it from happening because we're conscious about it now. We understand it. We also have digital means to contact each other, okay? We would never allow that to happen today. However, the Fourth Reich, they got smarter. They knew they couldn't do it directly, so not only will they do it behind the scenes, they will allow us to pay for our own death. This is how the system works. They've been doing this for a very, very long time. Keep in mind, they are not trying to destroy the population overnight because that's too fast and it'll be too recognized. This is a multi-generational situation. They know that it's going to take several lifetimes of their family members. They've done that. This has all been perfectly planned out. All right? It is our job at this point to dive back in. And this is why I keep saying, you have to get healthy. You don't have a choice at this point, right? The most common thing I hear from anybody, whether it's on a phone, in my office, whether it's my medical friends or my chiropractic or my natural health friends, it doesn't matter. You know that the most the number one most common thing I hear is, I can't afford or I don't have the money to do it. And you know what I said? Guess what? Money's fake. Money's not real. Money's a piece of paper. If you have a money problem, you don't actually have a money problem. You know what you have? You have a mind problem. Money is simply energy. And this is not a woo-woo thing. You can go look up Robert Kiyosaki. You can look up The Richest Man in Babylon. You can look up this everywhere. Even the successful people like the Trumps of the world. President Trump has in his book that money is a mind thing. It's energy, right? Look how confident he is every day. Look how confident successful people are. They suck money in left and right. It just flows into them because they're focused on it. They know that they can earn it. They can do anything they want to, right? That's how it works. So, money is actually fake. Money, and I don't know if I have it here, my silver coin. It's not right there. Even silver is just a piece of metal. Gold is just a piece of metal. Right? That's all it is. Why is gold worth so much? Because there's just less of it. It just has a higher value because it's precious and it's harder to get to. Why is silver so much? Because it's just harder to get to. But it doesn't actually have, there's nothing tied to it. It's our agreement that it means something, that it holds value. And we hold more value to it right now. So gold will go up, silver will go up because, oh my gosh, right now we need more of that because that is the only money for per the Constitution. But in reality, it's all fake. Paper's fake. Digits on a computer are fake. Crypto's fake. Guess what's not fake? Your body. Your body is a living, breathing organism made up of a bunch of cells. And so when I hear people say, well, I can't afford to do it. Really? Well, so you have two choices. You can say can't afford to do it, and you can continue buying in to the BS that they have taught you, which is go to medicine, go to medicine, go to medicine. That's what they teach you every day. When you turn on the television, which you still do, when you turn on the television and you hear that 3-minute commercial where they're talking about they have someone dancing through the field and they feel so wonderful while the medication is being played, and they talk about all the side effects and how the side effects are death and bleeding out the retinas and falling asleep while you're driving, all these insane things, right? And you will go down that road and you will get every surgery under the sun because it's fast and you want an immediate result because it's too damn hard to work for it. But guess what? That's how the successful become the successful. Because they're willing to put in the time, they're willing to put in the hours, they're willing to do what it takes to get themselves to a level where they're in control of their lives. And guess what? Money gets spent every day. Money goes in, money comes out. Money goes out, money comes in. Right? It's just a piece of paper. You know how they said, well, money doesn't grow on trees. Guess what? Actually, money does grow on trees. It's a freaking piece of paper. It comes from a tree. So when you heard that, money doesn't grow on trees, actually it does. It does come from a tree, right? And it comes from in the ground because it's a piece of metal. Or it comes on a computer like these because it's a digit on a computer screen. Or it's a crypto, which is crypto, as much as I think it's really cool, and I will invest in it, and I do invest in it, crypto is a digit up in the cloud of computing. Your money is not real. It's fake. All right? No matter what economy we go to, you're willing to put something fake over you, which is something real. As we go forward, this global order is doing everything it can to cull the population, everything you don't believe in. You have told me, I get messages all the time, you have told me you want to do whatever it takes to handle this problem in America, handle this problem in the world. We have to take it down. Well, guess what? The main reason or the main way they're taking it down is they're destroying American healthcare. They're destroying Americans' health. The only way to beat that is you have to get past this up here and you have to put yourself first to get yourself taken care of. That is how we beat the globalist system, all right? Because you can't be culled, you can't be taken out when you're healthy. And guess what? The healthier you get, the smarter you get. So when they come to you and say, hey, you need a vaccination, you can say, screw you. I actually know how this works. I worked to get this thing healthy. And guess what? I don't need a vaccination to beat all these stupid viruses because I got healthy and now I don't get sick. I don't have problems because I went through the work, which didn't take that long, wasn't that hard, and now I feel good and I don't need all your BS medical trash that you're trying to use to shut my body down. That's how it works, okay? I hope that helps. And that's not supposed to be a rant. That was just me telling you this was designed by them a long time ago. And they couldn't come right at America with the train cars. They couldn't come right at us with a horrible death shot. They couldn't come at us with a firing squad. Because why? We have this thing called the Second Amendment. We have this thing called the First Amendment. As patriots, we rise up. We are not defeated easily. We have founding documents that we still believe in, that we will fight back with. So instead, they decided to do it covertly. They decided to do it through our food system, our monetary system, our healthcare system. That's how they got to us. But now you're awake. You're seeing stuff every day. You're educating yourself. You can never go back. If you've gotten to this point in awakeness, you can't go. There is no going back. You don't get to go, even when everything comes back up, everything goes back online. Guess what? You're officially ruined. You don't get to go back. It's just like the Matrix. You unplugged. You see everything now. And now that you ask questions and now that you research, you unplug more. And even when this is all over and everyone out there goes back to their televisions and they go back to their Netflixes and they go back to their sports, you awoke. You're going to dive deeper. And the more questions you ask, the more answers you get. There's no coming back. You've gone down the hole. Now you get to go all the way down and you get to win with the rest of us. But this is your wake-up call. This is how we defeat the whole system. You now know not only what their end goal was and still is, you also know how they're doing it. You win. But you have to do the fighting, you have to do the working, you have to do everything you need to do to defeat this system. And sometimes those things are not going to be easy. Never is. Ask the super successful people. Was it easy getting to where you got to? Nope. Personally, my wife and I, we're the 15-year overnight story. That's what it is. How do we become successful? Well, I guess it was overnight. It was after 15 years of really hard work. Same with you. If you're successful in something, even if it's not health or it's not education, there's something you're successful in. Maybe it's being a parent, right? You didn't do that overnight. That took years and years of busting your ass, hard work to get there. All of this is information and knowledge now that you can use to help us defeat the system. And that's what's actually occurring because we already won. We just need to see and make this thing play out the way we need it to play out. Okay? I hope that helps. I will take a couple questions so I don't keep you guys super long. I always say I'm going to go short and then this stuff happens because I don't have this in the notes. I don't have this. This just happens. This is just purpose. This is why I want you to find your purpose. Because when you find your purpose, you can do the same thing. And then we have you in an area, you in an area, you in all over the world. We continue to make this the greatest, most amazing planet for us that we possibly can. That's why this is so important. All right. 3 questions. I'll give you 3 questions. I'll let these things catch up to where you guys are. 3 questions. Okay. If it's a choppy live, it's on the media end. It's not on my end. Okay. Let me look for 3 questions. Okay. Do I think heads will roll? Yes, I do think heads will roll. Yes. I'm going to attack the 666 bill probably in the next day or two. Don't worry, I'll get to that. Will heads roll? Yes, there'll at least be indictments. Absolutely. You can't be happening what's in the news right now to not have heads roll. Okay? Good. How do you recommend we get healthy? There's lots of ways. I have offered to help any of you. If you do want my help, email me, gethealthy@drjasondean.com. I think I have most every one of them caught up. There's just a couple I got to reply to because they're really long emails, but I'm happy to help. Who do I think Q is? My personal opinion on Q, based on what I've read from others, is I think Q is military intelligence. That's what I think, okay? Military intelligence, I think Trump's involved. I'm not going down the PSYOP. I'm actually not going down the PSYOP road anymore. I'll tell you this why. Let me explain to you why I'm no longer accepting questions on the PSYOPs of Q. I get a few. So this is how it started. I got a couple of videos. This will be my last one, but keep asking because I'll do the best to get to as many as I can. But I keep getting videos sent to me saying, Q's a PSYOP, watch this. Q's a PSYOP, watch this. I'm not beating anybody up for sending me videos. I appreciate it. Every one of the videos is completely generalized. There's absolutely zero scientific information to back any of them up. I got one the other day that was probably about 15 minutes long. I stopped watching it 3 minutes, not because I didn't want to go into it, but because in 3 minutes, all he wanted to do was promote himself, and he generalized every single thing he did, and he said he was getting all of his information secondhand, meaning he was proving out that he did none of his own research. And his actual answers and his reasoning behind it were baseless. There was nothing to it. And so I skipped ahead a little bit, and he just literally kept on generalizing. When I mean generalizing, there was no specific details of anything. It was him basically in his opinion. Not opinion backed up by details, but just opinion. Okay? Gethealthy@drjasondean.com. I just somebody said they wanted the email again. Okay? Okay, so that's why, one of the reasons why I won't do the PSYOP anything anymore. On top of that, I will tell you, let me give you a really quick lesson in energy. Spiritual energy. When I start looking down the path, there's two paths. When I start looking down the path of, oh, Q is really bad, it's a PSYOP, it's the New World Order, it's the globalists, everything's going to go bad, everything's going to go bad, I start feeling very spiritually down. I get, not depressed, but I get very melancholy feeling. I feel helpless. I feel hopeless. I feel like it's a dead end, and I feel like there's nothing to look forward to. Now, I know spirituality enough. Those are not good places to go. Not because I think they're true, because when I feel that way, that tells me that there's something wrong there. Not something wrong as in, oh, I'm onto it. That tells me there's something wrong, and that is not the correct road to go. On top of that, when I start studying all the different things about not just, and by the way, I'm not worshiping Q, okay? I study it, just like you'd study any other subject. I look at what could happen. I look at what the Anons are saying, all right? And I'm talking about the Anons who are doing their research correctly. I look at that. I start feeling so much better. I start feeling very hopeful. I start feeling very alive. I start feeling like everything is going to turn out okay. And I get a deep, very calming, peaceful feel that the world is going to be fine and that we are going to have a very happy ending and a happy future. So I can go down here or I can go up here. What would you choose? And anybody who says, well, that good feeling could be Satan or could be like evil, like, no, BS. Intuitively, you know when something is right and you know when something is wrong. I'm not talking about analytically. I'm talking about intuitively. You know when something is right. And when I start studying on that path upwards, I will tell you something. My world starts opening up to everything. Meaning, last weekend, I had to go down some deep, dark roads. I read some stuff, didn't like it. And guess what? My opportunities in life started shutting down. which is always a indicator that you're going the wrong direction. When I start studying the stuff that intuitively feels right, I have 3 or 4 interviews teed up for next week. One is a crypto person that you guys have been asking for, and that's going to be, I think, Monday or Tuesday. I have Ken Rolla coming back on, who has major answers for you on viruses going forward, has more information from military insiders. I have Lauren Boebert showing up, who is running for Congress. I have 2 other congressional candidates lining up. Let me tell you, when I study that, when I focus on researching and looking at Q and the Anons and looking at how this could play out and how and good information and knowledge, my world opens up. That tells me I'm on the right path. And on top of that, I cannot tell you who it is because I don't want to burst the bubble, but I am very close to being in contact with a doctor who has blown the whole thing wide open and is one of the smartest people I've ever heard, and she is amazing. And I'm this close to having her ready to rock and roll. And so the fact that that's occurring tells me we are going in the right direction. So I'm not looking down at the crap. I'm looking up because that's what sends me into the right direction, and that's what's making all this happen. And also, I have a possibly very, very massive opportunity in a couple weeks to do some really cool stuff that would not have happened if I was focusing on the negative aspect and focusing on the psyop. Okay, you have to really focus on the positive stuff here. Okay, that's what I want you to know. Everyone's gonna start guessing who I'm close to being in contact with, and I'm second in line in contact with, and it should be happening in the next day or so. I'm gonna let you guys think on that one. Okay, I'm not gonna say yes or no to the comments that are rolling in. I will just say that keep the positive vibes, because guess what? When you guys are positive like this, you drive the energy. You're doing exactly right now what we need, which is watching this, watching other shows as well, watching the Robert Scott Bells of the world, watching the John B. Wells of the world, watching the good stuff, right? This is how we win. You're doing it. So I appreciate all of you guys. This is amazing. I hope I brought value to you tonight. I hope I continue to bring value tonight. Even when my days are tired, I come in and you guys just light me up. You're so much fun. I truly appreciate it, and you inspire me by the work you guys are doing out there. It is completely and truly awesome. Social media will be going down. Get on the website or get on the email list. Go to therevolutionnetwork.com is the actual email list itself. And yes, I don't push emails out every single day in you. In the future, it'll start to amp up a little bit more, but right now I'm trickling it out because there's so much going on, and I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff, but there will be more coming. Don't worry. I will drop all those files to you. I compile stuff as we go. Also, if you want health help, we're slammed as an office. We're helping tons of people. My wife literally just helped someone get off. She didn't take her off medication because she doesn't do that. But this woman just got off a bunch of medications literally within 1 week of us helping her. So if you want my help, get healthy at drjasondean.com. I truly believe what we do every day changes the world. If you're in a different area and you'd like to see somebody physically, that's fine. Let me know. I have tons of people out there. But this is the time. Let's rock the world. Let's just make this thing happen. Keep those positive vibes up, and do me a favor, as always, prepare, but also go serve somebody. Nothing ever feels better than serving another human being. I had somebody come in today who I've been working with for 3 years. This woman battled infertility issues. She had some very, very severe health problems. And her sole focus was she wanted to have one child, her first child. And so we battled a lot of stuff. We battled a lot of chemical toxicity. Her body was very, very beat up. And she gave me the time. She did what she needed to do. It didn't go perfectly all the time, but she brought in, She gave birth about a month ago, roughly. She brought in today her little, like, 2 or 3 week old little girl that we worked on for 3 years. And I will tell you, there is nothing, like, I had a full afternoon of people to take care of. She was the first one with her little girl. She brought her little girl to have me check her out. And I will tell you, brightened up the entire day seeing this little 2-week-old little girl, like 6 pounds, and seeing the work that I helped her mom accomplish, which was getting her pregnant without fertility drugs, without getting all messed up, and being clean and being healthy. And so that was awesome. But guys, have a wonderful night. Jump on the bandwagon. Let's go fix America. Let's go fix Australia. Let's go fix Canada. Let's go fix Germany. Let's go fix China. Let's go fix everybody out there, wherever you're from, because I know there's more than America on this. Let's go fix Croatia. My wife got a message from a Croatian woman the other day. I believe it was a woman. I don't know for sure. A Croatian person. And this person said that videos kept this person happy and kept this person motivated to do this work. So that right there is mind-blowing and so exciting. So let's go save the planet. Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, signing off. You guys have an absolutely amazing evening. Take good care of yourself. I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same bat channel, same bat